my sort of curiosity and wanderings around the neighborhood that I happened to stumble upon English kilns when I decided to walk down this railroad track between these two warehouses. And it was a bit of a revelation. I had no idea that this waterway existed before. I knew that there was the creek, but I had no idea that it came all the way out here, just a few blocks from my apartment. So it was from these sort of excursions and seeing the problems of this creek that I decided to sort of concentrate my art activity on this subject, English kilns and the Superfund site that is Newtown Creek. What I tried to do in a number of projects, in a number of iterations of my English kilns project, is to do some site-specific videos in the neighborhood. So it made perfect sense for me to talk about an interrelationship with water and the waterway by bringing these videos to a place where we use a lot of water, and that would be the laundromat, which spoke to this interdependence and interrelationship that we have. So the kinds of questions that the videos would sort of imply: where does the water come from? What do we use it for? Where does it go? What happens during a rain event? So in a way, it kind of served as almost like a rebus to create certain images and symbolize how we are contributing to the pollution in English kilns. That's the CSO, which is the combined sewer overflow of English kilns. So after a light rain, basically the combined sewer overflow opens up and all of our waste comes flowing into the creek. So we're the major sources of pollution. And it doesn't take much. So even after a light rain, that gate will fall over. The residue of our garbage and, of course, the kind of vermicide that is sprayed on streets and on the garbage trucks. So what we're doing is we're breathing in a lot of toxins. It has affected the health of the long-standing members of this community and residents. Now, it's no coincidence that one of the most progressive programs for treating asthma for children is located here in Bushwick. One of the things that I recently did with my assistant Elizabeth was to begin to introduce man-made habitats. And what I used is the sort of model and the field tests that my collaborator, Dr. Sarah Durand, used in Dutch kilns, which is in the uppermost part of Newtown Creek. So what we wanted to do is test the viability of bringing in man-made wetlands to English kilns. So the test is whether or not this will survive in those conditions. The project is working on sort of a DIY public planning workshops, and it's called What Do You Want to See in English Kilns? I ask the community and people who live in the area to design their own wetlands in English kilns. Design a habitat where we can bring in soil and Spartina and filter feeding organisms into English kilns in Newtown Creek, so that way it can filter the water. What kind of artwork is it? Well, some people call it a social practice, meaning that it is a way of practicing artwork that involves community. It requires participation and cooperation with the people who live around it. To think about it with nature. Think about having nature cooperate with the waterway, and we cooperate with nature, of course.